Hello everyone, I'm Ina Man. Welcome to Higher Ground. Do British Columbians take the natural resource industry for granted? And if so, are we putting our economic and social well-being in jeopardy? These are just some of the questions we put to Barinder Rasode, ResourceWorks' new Director of Social Responsibility. Joining us today from our downtown Vancouver studio is Barinder Rasode. No doubt Rasode is familiar to our viewers. She served the residents of Surrey for 6 years on City Council and is one of the Lower Mainland's most well-known community advocates. Barinder, thanks for coming on the show today. First off, please explain to our viewers why you turned your attention to the natural resource debate here in British Columbia.
I think recently when we talk about issues that are very pressing to British Columbians, as we know that jobs are, what I think gets lost is where those jobs are coming from. Whether it's mining, forestry, oil and gas, every part of our economy is fundamentally based from those industries. And I think while there's an understanding, there isn't the acknowledgement of the fact that that's where our economy is generated from.
So why is there a lack of acknowledgement, you think?
You know, I think one of the things that's happened is that we take things for granted. I grew up in Kamloops. My father worked in a sawmill. My uncles worked in a mine. The pulp mill was front and center in our community. But I never defined the fact that I lived in a resource town. You know, my dad had a good union job, but I didn't take that extra step to say that that job came from the forest industry. So I think it's just the acknowledgement of valuing. We tend to, as a society, take things for granted that we've always had, and in British Columbia we have always had resource jobs.
But you think people do really know that deep down?
Well, I think the challenge that we have is that people already know, but what we need to do is create a dialogue where we're creating a safe place for people to actually have a conversation about the facts. Facts are that 72% of British Columbians support the resource sector. The challenge we have right now is that we're defining it as an either-or, and it's not an either-or. We have to do both well, and I think how we do that is getting a conversation out about what the reality is.
Barinder, do you think to some extent reality has been skewed in the campaign against resource development?
You know, I think the one thing that's really hard is that in any debate or dialogue, which I have always welcomed as a personal style, whether it was an elected office or any of the work that I've done, I think it's very healthy to engage in debate and dialogue. But a debate and dialogue that not only brings facts to the table, but brings a perspective that doesn't alienate people who have a difference of opinion. And I think what's happened now is that some of the information out there just seems so extreme that people are afraid to counter it. And I think that's where ResourceWorks is filling a vital role in having debate and dialogue with proper information so that people can engage either at the dinner table or at parent advisory committees to say, well, no, is that actually true? And I think some of the things out there right now are absolutely untrue.
What do you think the danger is of that then?
You know, I think that if we head down the road of making decisions based on misinformation or very one-sided, fear-mongering situations, we are in jeopardy. If we create barriers that don't need to exist, we are delaying economic opportunities that in the end, the three pillars of sustainability are social, economic, and environmental. It's like a bar stool. If one leg is too short, the bar stool tips over. I think we are at a crossroads, and I think that the conversation has to be an informed one, but we also have to get people championing our resource economy, because without it, we don't have a future.
What's your understanding when it comes to the social license to develop natural resources?
I think that the term social license is actually being misused. The reality we have right now is that without natural resources, we would be naked. No cell phones, no iPhones, no shoes, no clothes, no car. And so really to say that there is some sort of permission that we have to seek to do what we've always done, I think is very misguided.
Without natural resources, we'd be naked. That's quite the saying.
Well, and it is quite true. And I mean, let me tell you, there is one thing that it's again about taking things for granted. We don't acknowledge enough what clothes us, what houses us, what transports us. Where does that come from? It all comes from resources.
Barinder, I understand you're bringing your She Talk series to ResourceWorks, focusing on women and the resource sector. Tell us about that.
we have an amazing opportunity to not only showcase the success of women in the resource sector, but to get young women to look at careers, whether it's an environmental assessment officer, whether it's a biologist, whether it's in mining or forestry, or whether it's a job on the waterfront. There are so many fabulous opportunities for young women to engage in the resource sector. So on May 4th, in partnership with BCIT, we will be presenting She Talks Resources and creating a dialogue.
And that's it for Higher Ground this week. If you'd like to learn more about She Talks Resource Conference coming up on May 4th at BCIT, please visit resourceworks.com. And while you're there, make sure to sign up for our e-newsletter, and don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For ResourceWorks, I'm Mina Mann. Thanks for watching.